The Amazon stirs long before the sun dares to rise. A dense mist envelops the endless tangle of emerald leaves, clinging to gnarled branches and vines that writhe like silent serpents through the canopy. Each drop of dew sparkles like liquid crystal, catching the first glimmer of light that threatens the darkness. Deep in the shadows, insects buzz in a chorus so constant, so relentless, that it becomes the very heartbeat of the jungle. From the towering treetops, the calls of howler monkeys echo, bouncing off trunks and vines, a resounding thunder that speaks of unseen territories and ancient hierarchies. Birds, gleaming like spilled jewels, streak through the mist in fleeting arcs, their wings beating in the thick, humid air. Every movement, every sound carries a hidden tension, the subtle promise that danger lurks, patient, unseen, waiting. The air itself is alive. It clings to the skin, heavy with the scent of damp earth, decaying leaves, and the faint, almost imperceptible smell of predators moving through the undergrowth. Sunlight pierces the canopy in jagged beams, illuminating patches of the forest floor like spotlights on a stage where life and death move in perpetual rhythm. A snake coils around a branch, its emerald scales almost indistinguishable from the leaves. A jaguar, unseen yet omnipresent, walks silently along a riverbank, muscles rippling beneath its spotted fur. Every rustle of the foliage, every subtle movement is amplified in this cathedral of green. The jungle breathes, inhales and exhales, a living entity whose pulse is measured not in seconds but in survival. It is a place where hunter and prey share the same shadow, where beauty conceals brutality, and where life thrives because death is always near. The sunlight intensifies, banishing the mist, revealing glimpses of a vast and untamed world that stretches beyond comprehension, a network of rivers, trees, and hidden clearings that existed long before humans set foot upon it. As the mist dissipates, the canopy transforms into a green and gold cathedral, its immense pillars swaying gently in the early morning breeze. Small creatures dart among the branches, their movements seem insignificant, yet each one is a tale of survival, cunning, and caution. This is a jungle that commands respect, rewards attentiveness, and punishes carelessness. Here, in the cradle of life and death, every shadow hides a secret. Every leaf can conceal a predator, every sound can signal the arrival of an invisible killer. The Amazon is awake. Its heart beats to the rhythm of the wild, the untamed, the relentless, the eternal. Welcome to the Amazon, one of the most dangerous jungles in the world. In the dense undergrowth, life moves with deliberate stealth. Sunlight barely reaches the jungle floor, interrupted only by narrow rays that illuminate specks of dust and dew. In these shadows, the forest conceals its most lethal inhabitants, invisible assassins, masters of patience and silence. A slender vine snakes across the forest floor, but closer inspection reveals a serpent coiled upon it. Its scales gleam like wet emerald, blending seamlessly with the surrounding leaves. It waits, motionless, every muscle taut with latent energy. One false step from unsuspecting prey, and the tension dissolves into a strike so swift it seems like a ghost flying through the air. The forest floor holds its breath, aware yet powerless. High above, a spider weaves its delicate web, glistening with morning dew. To the casual observer, it is a fragile adornment, an intricate tapestry of light and shadow. But to the ants that wander unwittingly along the branches, it is a deadly trap, invisible until it is too late. Each thread vibrates at the slightest disturbance, and the predator strikes with surgical precision, injecting venom that immobilizes its prey before feeding. Nearby, clinging to a broad leaf, is a tiny frog, its skin a shimmering palette of reds, yellows, and blues. The colors are a warning, a declaration of miniature lethality. It doesn't hunt stealthily like a snake or a spider. Instead, its danger is immediate, explosive, unavoidable. One touch and the consequences can be swift and severe. Its stillness is as lethal as any blow. Even in the canopy, death moves invisibly. A camouflaged lizard presses itself against the bark of a tree, eyes blinking, tongue probing the air for vibrations. Its prey may pass right beneath, unaware of the predator's presence. The forest is a stage of illusions where survival depends on perception, patience, and the ability to disappear into the world itself. A flash of iridescent color, a swift movement through the leaves, then silence. The predator retreats into the shadows. The prey freezes, sensing the danger but unable to pinpoint it. In these moments, the Amazon reminds us that life here is a game of awareness, an endless competition between those who hunt and those who evade. Every inch of this rainforest teems with calculated threats, invisible until it is too late. Death waits patiently in these shadows, silent and demanding. The predators of the Amazon do not announce themselves with growls or roars. They do not flaunt their power. Instead, they blend in, they linger. They attack only when the opportunity is right. The invisible killers are everywhere, above, below, to the sides and behind. Their presence is a constant, imperceptible heartbeat of danger in one of the most dangerous ecosystems on Earth. In the Amazon, being invisible means survival. Being unaware does not. Every move in the Amazon is a negotiation with danger. The rainforest is not only teeming with predators, but also with creatures ever vigilant for the threats around them. A capybara stops mid-stride, twitching its ears and flaring its nostrils, scanning the shadows for the slightest hint of an ambush. The predator is rarely obvious. Often it is a ripple on the water, a sudden rustling of leaves, a shadow that lingers too long. Beneath a fallen leaf, a small poison dart frog clings to the damp underside, muscles tense and eyes wide open. Its colors, vivid to us, are invisible to the predator that relies on movement rather than sight. It waits, motionless, counting on the stillness to make it disappear into the complex mosaic of the rainforest. A bird perches nearby, brushing against a delicate branch. Its sudden flight could betray it or draw attention away from something far more dangerous lurking below. Every rustle, every subtle movement is a decision, a matter of life or death balanced by millimeters of reaction. High above, a harpy eagle hovers silently above the canopy, its wings barely stirring the air. Its piercing eyes scan the branches, settling on a squirrel scampering along a limb. The prey is alert, ears twitching, body coiled, ready to pounce, but the eagle's approach is a calculated inevitability. From the moment it spots its quarry, the hunt becomes a precise ballet, measured speed, calculated trajectory, imminent attack. Meanwhile, in the river, a green anaconda glides through the murky waters, its muscles undulating beneath the surface. Its movements are fluid, slow, almost invisible to eyes focused on the ripples it leaves in its wake. A capybara approaches the bank, oblivious to the predator lurking beneath the crystalline surface. Survival in this jungle is a constant game of vigilance, knowing when to move, when to stop, when to trust instinct rather than curiosity. Even insects participate in this delicate balance. Leafcutter ants march in precise formation, alert to the spiders lurking on nearby leaves. Every step is measured. Every ant participates in an ancient rhythm of evasion and predation. One false step could lead to disaster, a single thread of the web unraveling the balance of countless lives. This constant tension between predator and prey shapes every aspect of the jungle. Camouflage, patience, and keen senses dominate existence here. The gleaming eyes of a monkey, the sudden stillness of a frog, the subtle flex of an anaconda's coil, all are tools honed over millennia for navigating an environment where death can strike without warning. In the Amazon, survival isn't just about strength, it's about awareness, adaptation, and timing. Predators strike with precision, but prey have evolved to anticipate, evade, and resist. Life here is a silent, intricate negotiation, a perpetual tension that sustains the rhythm of the rainforest. Every creature, from the tiniest frog to the apex hunter, plays its part in this delicate, never-ending dance of life and death. The heartbeat of the jungle isn't measured in seconds, but in vigilance. The predator observes, the prey waits, and the forest, indifferent yet demanding, records everything. The Amazon River meanders through the rainforest like a living artery, its dark waters carving their way across an endless green sea. From the air it appears calm, almost serene, reflecting the clouds and the fragmented sunlight that dances across its surface. But the river is both lifeline and trap, a conduit of abundance and a corridor of danger. Life in the rainforest has always depended on its waters, a source of food, movement, and survival. Yet its currents can change in an instant, transforming tranquil pools into treacherous ones. Along its winding banks, flooded forests stretch for miles. Trees rise like submerged sentinels, their roots twisting in the water as if to anchor themselves against unseen forces. Pink river dolphins glide silently beneath the surface, their smooth backs breaking the river's mirror with delicate ripples. Their curiosity is tempered by caution. for hidden beneath the murky waters, caimans stalk, motionless, eyes barely visible, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. The river is a theatre of suspense where predators and prey share the same stage, each subtly, almost imperceptibly, aware of the other's presence. Giant otters weave through submerged logs and floating vegetation, their slender bodies gliding gracefully and naturally through the water. They hunt in coordinated packs, pursuing catfish among tangled roots and fallen trees, their sharp whistles echoing across the floodplain like precise signals. These waterways are their domain, a three-dimensional landscape of danger and opportunity, where agility and cunning determine life or death. Seasonal floods transform rivers and forests into mobile highways. Fish migrate in great numbers, seeking shallow pools to spawn, while birds follow, preying on the weakest, slowest, or most unlucky. Capybaras and tapirs navigate these temporary channels with careful strokes, aware that every splash can resonate with the senses of lurking predators. The floods bring both opportunities and risks, new feeding grounds, yes, but also the threat of a sudden ambush. The river's surface teems with life. Schools of fish break the stillness in sudden bursts, scattering like silver clouds before a heron plunges its beak in with lightning speed. Branches sway under the weight of monkeys crossing the flooded canopy, their calls carried through the water, warning of unseen dangers. Even the sunlight participates, flashing off scales, reflecting in the eyes of creatures, both predator and prey, turning the river into a theatre of fleeting moments, each measured by instinct and survival. Every ripple, every shadow beneath the surface tells a story of adaptation. The river shapes the rainforest as much as the rainforest shapes life along its banks. From pink dolphins leaping in playful arcs to stealthy caimans gliding through the reeds, from coordinated hunts by giant otters to the migratory journeys of fish, the Amazon's waterways are a stage where evolution and instinct collide. The river flows ceaselessly, indifferent yet demanding, offering sustenance and danger in equal measure. It is a realm where life and death move together, intertwined in a rhythm older than memory. In the Amazon, the pulse of survival follows the current, unwavering, unpredictable, and eternal. Above the flooded forests, the Amazon stretches skyward, a cathedral of green, bathed in shadows and sunlight. The canopy forms a dense, interconnected roof, teeming with movement, sound, and life. Every branch, every liana is the stage for countless interactions, a vertical world where survival is measured in leaps, glances, and silence. From this height, the jungle seems endless, a living tapestry of predators and prey, hunters and prey, all engaged in an intricate and perilous dance. The monkeys swing effortlessly through the branches, muscles taut and tails tucked in, darting from tree to tree with astonishing precision. Their chatter echoes through the canopy, a mixture of warning and camaraderie, alerting their companions to the presence of nearby predators. Beneath them, shadows ripple with a hidden threat. A camouflaged green snake slithers along a branch, subtly bobbing its head and flicking its tongue, sensing the vibrations of the forest. Its body, almost indistinguishable from the leaves and vines, waits for the perfect moment to strike. Sloths hang upside down, deliberate in every movement, slow and measured. Their lethargy is deception, a survival tactic perfected over millennia. Every leaf they consume, every branch they grasp, carries the risk of revealing them to the harpy eagles or ocelots that hunt with precision and patience. The sloth's stillness, the subtle twitch of an ear, the slow and deliberate search for foliage, every action is a testament to resilience in a world where alertness can mean life and a misjudgment, death. Epiphytes, orchids, bromeliads and ferns cling to branches like fragile sculptures, absorbing moisture and nutrients from the humid air. They form tiny microhabitats, sheltering insects, frogs and lizards, each dependent on the canopy's precarious balance. A brightly coloured poison dart frog crouches among a clump of leaves, its skin gleaming against the dark green backdrop, a warning that beauty can be deadly. A leafcutter ant pauses on a vine, crossing its path alongside the hidden line of a predatory spider, oblivious to the danger lurking in plain sight. The birds burst forth in sudden bursts of colour and movement. Macaws squawk as they descend among the branches, scattering smaller birds and insects in a frantic flurry. Raptors glide silently, scanning the ground for movement, talons poised for an immediate strike. Each predator has adapted to the vertical complexity of the canopy, exploiting shade, height, and maneuverability, while the prey have learned to take advantage of gaps, camouflage, and agility. Even the wind plays a role, bending branches, shifting leaves, and altering lines of sight. A miscalculated leap or a momentary stillness can determine which creatures will live to see the next sunrise. In the canopy, the rules are subtle, yet absolute. Every movement counts, every shadow matters, and every layer is a battlefield. Here, life hangs suspended between heaven and earth, a realm of constant observation, meticulous calculation, and delicate balance. The vertical realm of the jungle is as dangerous as it is beautiful, a world where survival depends on awareness, speed, and the ability to vanish into the verdant labyrinth. In the Amazon, the higher you climb, the closer you are to danger, and the further you are from certainty. Beneath the towering canopy, the jungle floor unfolds like a shadowy labyrinth, thick with decaying leaves, roots, and the scent of damp earth. The air is heavy and humid, laden with the musky aroma of moss and fungi and the faint trail of unseen predators. Every step in this world is a step into a hidden realm of danger where survival depends not only on speed, but also on perception, instinct, and caution. The jaguar's paw prints sink into the softened earth, a silent declaration of power. The enormous predator moves like a ghost among the trees, its muscles taut beneath its spotted fur, its eyes alert to any movement in the shadows. Its presence is both invisible and palpable, a weight in the atmosphere that forces smaller creatures to adapt, to stop, to flee. Every rustle of leaves, every twig that snaps becomes a potential signal, a whisper of death in a world where the hunter is invisible until it chooses to reveal itself. Leafcutter ants march in long, precise lines, carrying fragments of foliage many times their own size. Their collective industriousness is astonishing, a ceaseless tide of determination and teamwork that shapes the rainforest itself. But even in their efficiency lies danger. Predatory spiders lurk suspended in the tangle of roots and fallen branches, ready to intercept the unsuspecting workers. The slightest misstep, a miscalculated path, or a misplaced foot can mean the difference between life and instant death. Poisonous spiders, camouflaged among the brown leaf litter, extend their delicate legs with astonishing precision. Their movements are almost imperceptible. Every vibration in a leaf or stem is a signal to attack. Some are hunters, others ambush predators, stalking their prey. The scent of the jungle, the dampness clinging to the skin, even the slightest vibration in a root is a language that must be interpreted correctly, or the consequences will be immediate. Small mammals, rodents, and reptiles move through this mosaic of shadows and decay with constant vigilance. Frogs crouch beneath leaves, their skin glistening with moisture, scanning for both predators and opportunities. A sudden movement signals the presence of a swift insect or a lurking snake. All creatures are fully aware of their surroundings, sensing vibrations, detecting faint scents, or relying on the most subtle visual cue to survive. Even the ground itself is treacherous. Pools of stagnant water conceal piranhas. Snakes lie beneath fallen logs, and fungi release spores that blanket the air like a fine mist. Life thrives amidst danger, but danger thrives equally alongside life. The jungle floor is not a passive world. It is active, deliberate, and lethal in ways both obvious and hidden. In this dark and intricate underworld, survival is a constant negotiation. The jaguar stalks silently, the ants march methodically, the spiders wait patiently, and the frogs remain perfectly still. Every sound, every scent, every movement has meaning. The Amazon rainforest floor may be invisible from above, ignored by those who soar in the canopy. But here, in the shadows, the pulse of the jungle beats stronger, more precisely, more relentlessly. The jungle floor is alive in ways the human eye cannot always perceive, and danger advances with patience, precision, and inevitability. Here, life and death are not separated by distance but by perception, and in the Amazon, perception is survival. A shadow moves through the undergrowth, fluid and silent, a phantom among the roots and fallen leaves. The jaguar prowls with an invisible yet undeniable presence. Its body is a perfect synthesis of power and stealth. Its spotted coat blends seamlessly with the shifting patterns of light on the forest floor, making it almost indistinguishable from the shadows. Every step is calculated, every muscle taut and ready, a predator honed over millennia. It stops, ears twitching and nose quivering. The scent of capybara, the faint trail of a caiman hangs in the humid air. Sharp, unblinking eyes scan the foliage, catching subtle changes. A trembling leaf, a swaying branch, a ripple on the riverbank. In those moments, the jaguar is more than an animal. It is a force of nature, the living embodiment of patience, precision, and deadly determination. The hunt begins. Muscles tense beneath its smooth fur as it advances close to the ground, its paws silent across the soft leaf litter. Its movements are a carefully choreographed interplay between predator and terrain. Branches bend imperceptibly, leaves tremble, and all the while the jaguar's golden eyes remain fixed on its prey. A capybara grazes near the water, oblivious to the predator closing the distance with imperceptible grace. Then a pause, a held breath, an instant that stretches across the jungle floor. With lightning precision, the jaguar lunges, its powerful limbs propelling it forward, its jaws closing around the neck and spine in a swift, lethal blow. The struggle is brief. The balance of the ecosystem is disrupted in an instant. Death here is swift, deliberate, and invisible until it happens. Water offers no refuge. The jaguar enters the river, flexing its muscles as it swims with effortless authority. Fish scales glisten beneath the surface, and a lurking caiman senses the disturbance but keeps its distance. Jaguars are not confined to land. They rule riverbanks and shallow waters alike, hunters whose territory extends across land, water, and shadow. Even among currents and reeds, their stealth is absolute, their power unyielding. Territorial markings, clawed trees, scent trails, vocalizations, these delineate invisible boundaries. Other predators, smaller and less dominant, respect the jaguar's presence, wary of confrontation. However, even elite hunters are subject to the laws of the jungle: scarcity, opportunity, and the unpredictability of prey. Survival is not guaranteed, but the jaguar's mastery of stealth, strength, and strategy gives it an advantage that few can challenge. Every movement tells a story. The flick of a tail, the flex of a shoulder, the slow, deliberate stalk through the dappled light, each a testament to evolutionary perfection. The jaguar's world is one of calculation and patience, where every step is weighed, every decision precise, and every strike decisive. In the Amazon, silence is a weapon, and no predator wields it more effectively than the jaguar. Shadows are its armor, stealth its method, and power its declaration. Here in the verdant cathedral of the rainforest, the jaguar stands as one of the rainforest's apex predators, a living enigma, master of both sight and silence, whose presence shapes the rhythm of life and death beneath the canopy and along the riverbanks. Beneath the dark surface of a flooded river, movement is a whisper. The water is thick with sediment and vegetation, a tangle of roots, fallen branches, and floating leaves. Here reigns the green anaconda, a master of patience, waiting for the unwary to get too close. Its enormous body lies coiled beneath the surface, its eyes and nostrils barely protruding from the water, invisible yet attentive to every vibration, every ripple, every breath of life that passes above. The anaconda's presence is almost imperceptible. Sunlight filters through the canopy, fracturing into rays that shimmer on the river, twinkling off scales that blend seamlessly with the watery shadows. The water ripples slightly as a school of fish swims past, and each fin sends subtle vibrations through the anaconda's sensitive body. It doesn't move. It doesn't panic. The hunt is a test of patience, endurance, and precision. A capybara approaches the riverbank, its footsteps pounding in the mud. Its snout dips into the water, oblivious to the predator lurking nearby. The anaconda reacts subtly, its muscles taut like steel springs, waiting for the perfect alignment. In this jungle, timing is everything. A premature attack and the prey escapes. Too late and the opportunity is lost. Every heartbeat counts, measured to the rhythm of the river. Then, without warning, a wave accelerates. A sudden surge, the water explodes as the anaconda attacks, tightening its jaws around the capybara with a force that seems impossible for its submerged, sinuous body. Its muscles tense, constricting in an unstoppable embrace. The struggle is brief, the resistance futile. The hunter beneath the surface, almost invisible until now, wields the brutal, terrifying force that defines ultimate predation in the Amazon. Even after the kill, the anaconda's control is meticulous. Its enormous body undulates, adjusting its grip, ensuring the prey cannot escape. The water swirls in chaotic eddies, the sunlight fracturing and distorting with movement. Small fish scatter in all directions, insects take flight, and the river resumes its rhythm as if nothing had happened. But the balance of life has shifted, silently and irrevocably. In these waterways, stealth is as lethal as strength. Anacondas don't chase, they wait. They blend in, linger, calculate, and when the moment is perfect, they strike with sudden, crushing efficiency. Their hunting grounds are flooded forests, rivers and swamps, places teeming with prey, but escape is never safe. Every ripple, every shadow, every floating leaf can conceal a predator of unimaginable power. The Amazon teaches patience, respect and caution, and no predator embodies these lessons more profoundly than the anaconda. Its lethality is silent, almost invisible, yet absolute. Life and death in these waters depend not only on speed, but also on strategy, timing, and the unwavering precision of a predator that moves unseen until it decides to reveal itself. Beneath the surface, in the silent currents of the river, the anaconda waits, and life in the Amazon goes on, measured in waves, heartbeats, and shadows of invisible killers. Among the glistening leaves of the rainforest understory, a flash of color catches the eye. Tiny, yet incredibly vivid, the poison dart frog perches on a damp leaf, its skin shimmering with iridescent blues, reds, and yellows. At first glance, it seems almost ornamental, a jewel lost among the green. But this brilliance is not merely for beauty. It is a statement, a warning written in pigment and survival. Every detail of the frog's small body has a purpose. Its skin glistens with a thin, toxic layer, droplets of which catch the light like liquid crystal. Muscles ripple beneath its delicate structure as it moves, its toes gripping the leaf with precise, almost fragile tension. The frog's movements are subtle yet constant, a tilt of its head, a flick of its tongue, a tiny hop to the edge of a leaf. Each movement is a careful negotiation with the world around it, calculated to conserve energy while simultaneously signaling danger. The rainforest is teeming with predators, but this miniature killer relies not on stealth but on chemical warfare. Birds, snakes, and insects quickly learn to heed the warning written on its skin. One touch from this tiny creature, and the consequences are immediate and painful, a lesson seared into the memories of aspiring jungle hunters. Toxicity is its armor, brilliance, its signal. Even at this small scale, the frog commands attention. Tiny vibrations in the leaf communicate the presence of prey or predator, while subtle shifts in posture indicate readiness or caution. Its dark, unblinking eyes reflect the surrounding foliage, observing both the beauty and the danger of its world. To the casual observer, it is delicate, almost fragile. To the rainforest, it is a potent agent of survival, a reminder that lethality is not determined by size. In these microhabitats, among the water droplets accumulated in the bromeliads, the leaves slippery from the rain and the branches covered with moss, the poison dart frog thrives. Each location provides not only sustenance in the form of small insects, ants, and mites, but also concealment, camouflage, and the perfect stage to display their warning colors. Predators scrutinizing the undergrowth encounter an unmistakable signal, a palette of danger that glows brightly against the muted greens and browns of the forest floor. Life here is balanced on a scale invisible to the untrained eye. A frog, no bigger than a human thumb, can dictate the decisions of birds and snakes, transforming micro-ecosystems with chemical power and silent authority. Its tiny leaps, its subtle changes, its skin coated with toxins remind us that in the Amazon, danger comes in all forms, from the enormous predator lurking on the riverbank to the smallest creature perched on a leaf. The lethal elegance of the rainforest is embodied in these miniature warriors. They move with purpose, announce themselves brilliantly, and survive thanks to an invisible, immediate, and unyielding chemistry. In the Amazon, the tiniest life forms possess immense power, and the poison dart frog is one of the most vivid examples. A sentinel of warning, a master of invisibility through deterrence, and a silent killer among the leaves glistening in the rain. High above the tangled canopy, the air buzzes with movement and anticipation. Shadows stretch across the leaves as a harpy eagle glides gracefully, beating its wings with a power that belies its size. Its eyes, sharp as polished obsidian, scan the branches, piercing the foliage with astonishing precision. Every movement in the jungle is recorded. A flick of its tail, the glint of a branch bending under its weight, the flash of its plumage in the sunlight. Nothing escapes this aerial predator. Perched high on a branch, a group of squirrel monkeys chatters nervously, twitching their ears and scanning the treetops. The eagle has spotted them, calculated their positions, weighed the distance and measured its trajectory. It approaches silently. The wind carries it along, but its sound betrays it. In that moment, the jungle stands still. Even the leaves seem to hold their breath, barely whispering in faint murmurs, as if sensing the predator above. With a sudden flap of its wings, the harpy eagle begins its descent. Muscles tense beneath its feathers, talons flex, gleaming in the fragmented light. From above, the eagle is a blur of movement, but every motion is deliberate, controlled, calculated. The monkeys scatter, leaping among the branches with desperate agility, but the eagle follows, banking with astonishing precision, adjusting mid-flight to the unpredictable sway of the canopy. Its talons, enormous and curved like scythes, reach the largest monkey in the group. The prey leaps, writhing in the air, but the eagle grips it firmly. The talons sink in with crushing force, piercing fur and bone in an instant. The struggle is brief. Strength, speed and aerial mastery converge, and the predator soars again, its prey cornered, leaving the treetops momentarily silent, save for the rustling of falling leaves. The harpy eagle's impact on the ecosystem is subtle yet profound. By controlling populations of monkeys, sloths, and other arboreal mammals, it maintains balance in the canopy. Each successful hunt reminds us that apex predators shape their environment, not only through immediate predation, but also through the long-term consequences of fear and behavioral modification. Monkeys alter their movement patterns, insects modify their activity, and even plant pollination is affected by the careful choreography between predator and prey. Even in moments of rest, the harpy eagle commands attention. Perched high above, its feathers ruffled by the wind, it turns its head and stares intently. The smaller creatures freeze upon recognizing it, aware of the silent power that observes them. Its presence is a lesson in precision and patience. Hunting is not random, but a calculated act, a dialogue with the environment that demands mastery of both skill and perception. In the Amazon, the canopy is both sanctuary and hunting ground. Life thrives in the branches, but death descends from above with astonishing speed. The harpy eagle embodies the lethal elegance of this aerial world, a predator whose mastery of flight, talons, and eyesight ensures survival, maintains ecological balance, and reminds all creatures that not even the skies are safe from the jungle's invisible killers. The forest floor is still, deceptively serene, but beneath the leaf litter and tangled roots, predators wait with lethal patience. Coiled motionless, they lie in the shadows, concealed by patterns of earth, moss, and fallen leaves. The bushmaster, the lancehead, and the coral snake are masters of concealment, their bodies sculpted to vanish into the jungle tapestry. Every scale, every curve has a purpose: invisibility, precision, and lethality. A bushmaster rests in a hollow beneath a tree, its massive body coiled like steel springs. Its triangular head is barely visible, flattened against the leaf litter, eyes fixed and nostrils quivering as it senses the vibrations of life above. A rat scurries nearby, oblivious to the predator, gauging the distance, assessing the tension in its coils, ready to transform patience into instant violence. Nearby, a spear-like snake slithers with deliberate caution, its tongue flicking, sniffing the air for the scent of its prey. Perfectly camouflaged against the mottled forest floor, it is almost invisible. The snake's body moves with the subtle undulation of a living shadow, its muscles flowing with an ancient rhythm. One false step by a small mammal, a vibration too close, and the predator strikes. Speed, precision, and venom combine in an instantaneous and relentless attack, even smaller, but no less deadly. The coral snake slithers through the undergrowth. Its bright bands serve as a warning to all but the most foolhardy, signifying miniature power. Its movements are subtle, almost imperceptible. It slithers along a branch, waits beneath a leaf, living testament to the idea that lethality is not dependent on size. One bite releases a neurotoxin capable of paralyzing the nervous system, a silent killer whose power is both precise and terrifying. For prey, there is no room for error. Every step must be calculated, every pause deliberate. The forest communicates through vibrations, smells, and subtle shifts in light and shadow. To misinterpret these signals is to risk disaster. The jungle teaches vigilance, awareness, and humility, and venomous snakes are its most relentless instructors. When the attack comes, It is sudden, a flash, a twist of muscle, a piercing of the fragile thread of life. The prey perceives the danger only an instant too late, a shudder of panic in mid-stride, a heartbeat cut short by the precision of evolution's finest assassins. Afterward, the jungle resumes its rhythm, indifferent to the event, but forever shaped by its consequences. The venomous snakes of the Amazon don't hunt lightly. They wait, they calculate, they remain motionless until the opportunity aligns perfectly. Camouflage, patience, and chemical potency define their lethality. In this silent world, death arrives without warning, leaving barely a ripple on the forest floor. The jungle floor teems with movement, sound, and color, but the quietest predator often wields the greatest power. Motionless, invisible, deadly venomous snakes are the stealth predators of the Amazon, reminding us all that life here exists at the edge of consciousness, and that survival depends on the ability to see, feel, and respect what is hidden. In the Amazon, survival is a constant negotiation, and those hunted have developed strategies as intricate as the predators that stalk them. Capybaras gather along riverbanks, their dark eyes alert and their ears twitching at the slightest rustle. Every step is measured, their paws pressing softly into the mud, their claws leaving barely a trace. The group moves as one in a coordinated rhythm of vigilance, communication, and instinct honed over millennia. Footsteps are carefully spaced to avoid unnecessary noise. A single misstep could betray the group to a lurking jaguar or a submerged anaconda. Leaves crunch softly underfoot. Water splashes in gentle arcs as the capybaras enter the river, but every sound is calculated, part of a complex language of survival. The group communicates constantly. Subtle tail twitches, nudges, and glances alert their companions to danger or opportunity. Safety lies not only in numbers, but also in each individual's sensitivity to the signals of others. Agoutis move in bursts of sudden energy, darting through clearings and leaping over roots. Their large, dark eyes scan for predators, constantly calculating the safest path. Every pause is a reconnaissance, every dash a risky gamble. Their survival depends on speed, perception, and the ability to vanish into the undergrowth the instant the threat becomes real. The enormous, deliberate tapirs move through the flooded forests with an awareness that blends brute force and cautious vigilance. Their nostrils flare above the water as they breathe, acting like antennae to capture the scents carried on the humid air. They move slowly, each step deliberate, leaving tracks in the mud and water that both indicate their presence and, paradoxically, camouflage their movement. Even these giants rely on silence, patience, and keen awareness to avoid becoming prey. Scent marking plays a vital role in orientation and territorial awareness. Urine, glandular secretions, and subtle soil disturbances communicate the location of both allies and predators. A capybara sniffing a trail interprets these chemical messages, assessing risk, identifying safe routes, and avoiding areas frequented by jaguars or snakes. In the Amazon, even invisible scent signals can have life or death consequences. Escape strategies are as varied as the threats themselves. A sudden plunge into a river, a zigzag through dense roots, freezing under lush foliage. Each maneuver is an evolutionary response to a world where danger arrives unpredictably. Herd animals teach these behaviors to their young from a young age, and each generation refines them, balancing caution with opportunity, survival with sustenance. The jungle is thick with tension, the rustling of leaves, the lapping of water, the soft tapping of hooves or claws, all form a symphony of consciousness, a constant dialogue between predator and prey. Life here is not passive, it is active, deliberate, and adaptable. Every creature, regardless of size, participates in the intricate choreography of survival, shaping and being shaped by the unseen threats that surround it. In the Amazon, vigilance is life, coordination is survival, and every step, every glance, every ripple in the water or the whisper of the leaves has meaning in the relentless struggle to remain invisible, inaudible, and alive. Beneath towering trees and tangled vines, the rainforest floor stirs with movements invisible from above. Millions of tiny legs flutter across the leaf litter, a living tide of red, black, and gold. Army ants march in relentless formation, their mandibles clicking with mechanical precision, devouring everything in their path. To the casual observer, they are chaos incarnate. To the Amazon, they are the architects of the understory, transforming life with every coordinated step. Leafcutter ants move in endless lines, fragments of foliage clutched in their mandibles, like miniature soldiers carrying spoils of war. Their trails crisscross roots, mud, and fallen branches, forging intricate paths that linger long after they've passed. Predators watch and wait, frogs perched at the edge of a trail, lizards slithering among the leaves, spiders dangling from their silk. Every movement of this tiny army signals both opportunity and threat, and survival hinges on an awareness of the swarm's rhythm. Termite swarms rise like dust clouds at dawn, filling the air with shimmering wings and frenzied energy. Birds fly through the mist, pecking at stragglers, while bats soar above, weaving through the chaos. The swarms are both food and danger. Their sheer numbers can overwhelm smaller creatures, altering the forest floor in ways unseen until the next day. Even in the insect microcosm, strategy governs survival. Army ants hunt in relentless swarms, overwhelming their prey with coordinated attacks, multiplying their strength by their sheer numbers. Leafcutter ants maintain underground farms, cultivating fungi on the devoured leaves to sustain the colony. Each individual does not act alone, but as part of a living organism, a collective mind that shapes and sustains life, and sometimes death, on the rainforest floor. Millions of creatures move in perfect synchronicity, a pulse that dictates the rhythm of survival. The leaf litter trembles beneath their steps. Small creatures leap or flee, and predators adapt, exploiting gaps or learning patterns in the swarm's movements. Even shadows play a role, casting fleeting darkness over ant trails and termite columns, transforming every micro-moment into a negotiation between predator, prey, and the unstoppable tide of insect power. These tiny armies are not mindless. They respond to threats, adapt to the terrain, and interact with countless other species. Frogs, spiders, and birds have learned to anticipate, hide, and sometimes even take advantage of the swarms, using the chaos to their own survival. The rainforest is a web of interdependence where even the smallest creatures influence the largest, and life persists through vigilance, timing, and adaptation. The Amazon is built upon these subtle forces. Mountains of leaves vanish beneath coordinated jaws. Shadows tremble as predators observe the pulse of the undergrowth. Life and death are measured not only by size or strength, but by awareness, timing, and the ability to move in harmony with or against the infinite armies that make up the rainforest. In the silence and chaos of the forest, the tiny becomes monumental, the invisible becomes undeniable, and the rhythm of survival beats in the legs of millions of insects marching toward creation and destruction. The Amazon is a world in motion, its pulse marked by the rise and fall of the waters that transform the rainforest with the seasons. Floods swell, overflowing the riverbanks, inundating the forests and creating temporary highways through the dense vegetation. Life responds in sync with this rhythm. Fish move in great schools, birds undertake long journeys, and mammals adapt their movements to the changing landscape. Migration is survival at its most extreme, a choreography of instinct, opportunity, and risk. In the flooded forests, schools of fish rise like silver clouds beneath the canopy's reflection. Currents carry them toward spawning grounds, feeding areas, and safer waters. Each individual must navigate predators lurking in the murky depths, stalking caimans, stealthy anacondas, and fishing birds overhead. Odds are measured in percentages of survival, but the collective movement ensures the species' persistence. Ripples reflect on the water's surface, signaling both threat and passage, while the most vulnerable in the jungle adapt to an unforgiving landscape. Above, migratory birds trace precise aerial corridors, their wings cutting through the moist air, their eyes scanning the treetops for food and predators. Their journey spans hundreds, sometimes thousands of kilometers, and every flap is a negotiation with the wind, the weather, and exhaustion. Each stop is crucial, an opportunity to rest, hunt, and replenish their energy, yet every pause carries danger. Birds of prey and snakes watch from above and below, making the migratory route a challenge where only the most alert and strongest survive. Land creatures also react to floods. Tapirs travel along submerged trails, adjusting their steps to the water's depth. Capybaras move to higher ground or follow riverbeds, coordinating their movements with the herd to minimize their vulnerability. Even insects shift in response, relocating their nests, avoiding submerged areas, and taking advantage of new feeding grounds. Every living thing, large or small, moves to the rhythm of the flood, a vast, interconnected system dictated by water, food, and survival. The scale of these migrations is epic, almost incomprehensible. Water, wind, and landscape act as both guides and obstacles, shaping the journey of millions of creatures simultaneously. Every movement is a calculation that balances opportunity with risk, energy with distance, instinct with awareness. From tiny fish navigating predator-filled currents to macaws soaring through the tree canopy, survival is measured in every movement, every decision, and every beat of life's relentless rhythm. Migration in the Amazon is more than just a journey. It's a testament to adaptability. Species have evolved to take advantage of the changing environment, predict water levels, perceive seasonal cues, and anticipate threats along the way. The pulse of the rainforest demands precision, timing, and resilience, traits honed over millennia in one of the most unforgiving ecosystems on the planet. In this vast and dynamic wilderness, the tides of life flow continuously. Each surge carries predators and prey, hunters and prey, in a delicate and perilous balance. Migration is both a test and a triumph, a testament to resilience and adaptation, where the journey itself defines the survival of the Amazon's incredible diversity. As night falls on the Amazon, shadows deepen and the rainforest transforms. The verdant cathedral of the canopy fades into muted shapes, and the forest floor becomes a twilight world where sight alone cannot reveal danger. Darkness is both refuge and weapon, redefining the rules of survival. Here, senses other than sight dominate. Ears twitch at distant rustles, nostrils flare at the faintest scent, and every vibration transmits vital information. A jaguar moves silently along a riverbank, its muscles taut beneath its spotted fur. Its eyes catch the faintest glimmer of moonlight, but it relies heavily on its other senses. The subtle rustling of branches, the faint scent of prey wafting through the damp night air. Each step is deliberate, calculated, a dance of stealth and power. In the darkness it is almost invisible, a shadow among shadows, ready to strike without warning. Beneath the surface, the caimans lie submerged, their eyes and nostrils just above water. The water acts as both camouflage and sensor, transmitting vibrations as prey approaches. Nighttime enhances their advantage. The river's silence, the muffled sound of footsteps, and the faint rustling of leaves betray the movement of unsuspecting animals. When the moment arrives, the attack is sudden, crushing, and precise, a lethal combination of patience and strength. Owls soar through the canopy, their wings whispering against the leaves. Their night vision and keen hearing make them experts at hunting in the dark. Every mouse, frog, or insect becomes a target. Every wing beat an invitation to strike. The rainforest resonates with a symphony of nocturnal life, the calls of owls, the subtle whispers of mammals, the distant lapping of water, all forming a web of signals that both predators and prey interpret with precision. Nocturnal snakes slither silently through leaf litter and shallow water, their bodies coiled, waiting for their prey to get too close. Venom is their silent ally, their speed of attack is absolute. They take advantage of the darkness to approach undetected, using vibration, smell, and subtle temperature changes to locate their prey. Night provides them with both opportunity and camouflage, making each encounter sudden, unexpected, and often fatal. Even prey species adapt to the dangers of the night. Capybaras huddle together, ears perked and tails twitching in warning. Tapirs move cautiously through flooded forests, sniffing and twitching their ears to detect the slightest movement. Birds and insects adjust their activity cycles, hiding or relocating to avoid nocturnal hunters. All creatures adapt to the darkness, interpreting subtle cues in a world where mistakes can mean death. The Amazon at night is a realm of intense tension. The silence is deceptive. The shadows conceal both threats and opportunities. Hunting and survival depend not only on brute force, but also on awareness, opportunity, and sensitivity to the subtlest changes in the environment. Life here persists not by luck, but through the mastery of the senses, honed to perfection. Nightfall transforms the rainforest into a living web of danger. Jaguars, caimans, owls, and snakes move with invisible precision. Predators attuned to the rhythms of darkness. Prey move cautiously, relying on hearing, smell, and intuition. In this nocturnal theater, the Amazon demonstrates a timeless truth. Life is more fragile when unseen, but more extraordinary when all the senses are attuned to the world around us. The Amazon is not ruled by a single predator. It is ruled by networks of hunters, each playing its part in a vast, interconnected web of life. From the leaf litter to the canopy, from still waters to raging streams, predators move in silent coordination, shaping the rainforest with their presence, their actions, and the fear they inspire. Every interaction, subtle or dramatic, reverberates throughout the entire ecosystem, a testament to the delicate balance of survival. Spiders weave shimmering webs among the branches, nearly invisible threads that trap insects in mid-flight. Tarantulas prowl the forest floor, sensing vibrations through the ground, waiting for unsuspecting prey. Army ants march in tireless ranks, clearing paths and hunting collectively with terrifying efficiency. Each predator exploits its niche, but their effects spread far and wide, influencing the movements, behaviors, and evolution of countless species. Above, raptors patrol the canopy, their sharp eyes searching for movement. Harpy eagles swoop down, parrots harass smaller raptors, and insectivorous birds dart swiftly through the leaves, catching swarms of flying insects. Their presence indirectly guides the movements of both terrestrial predators and prey. A herd of capybaras will halt or scatter not only because of a jaguar lurking nearby, but because the flapping of their wings overhead signals danger, a predator in another layer of the forest. Frogs, small but deadly in their chemical defense, occupy microhabitats throughout the rainforest. Their toxicity influences the behavior of snakes, lizards, and birds, altering their hunting strategies and feeding preferences. Leafcutter ants shape the forest floor, pruning vegetation, cultivating fungi, and inadvertently providing food and access routes for other predators. Even the smallest organisms participate in this complex dance, and their actions contribute to a subtle orchestration of life and death. Interconnectedness is everywhere. A snake's attack on a rodent triggers ripples in space and time. A jaguar detects an empty prey trail. Birds take advantage of insect activity, and ants adjust their foraging routes. The rainforest is a web of cause and effect, a dynamic network in which every predator and prey participates to maintain balance. No action exists in isolation. Movement here is both deliberate and reactive. Predators seize opportunities, prey adapt strategies, and survival is a constant negotiation. Every vibration in the leaf litter, every splash in a river, every rustle in the canopy communicates danger or possibility. In this environment, awareness is as vital a weapon as strength or poison. Every predator, from the invisible spider to the dominant jaguar, contributes to the rhythm of life, the silent breaks that govern the Amazon. The army of predators demonstrates that lethality doesn't have to be solitary. It can be scattered, indirect, subtle, yet overwhelming. Each creature, in its own way, imposes the rules of survival. The jungle exists as a living mosaic of hunters and prey, of strategy and instinct, of observation and action. In the Amazon, danger is never singular. It is complex, nuanced, and omnipresent. Predators act individually and as participants in a collective network, shaping life and death on every branch, leaf, and river. Surviving here means understanding the rhythm of this army, moving with awareness, respect, and vigilance in a world where the web of danger extends invisibly in every direction. In the Amazon, not all survival is defined by strength or venom. Some creatures resort to a more subtle, almost invisible art, deception. Leaf insects cling to fronds, their bodies indistinguishable from the surrounding foliage. Stick insects line up perfectly along branches, their elongated bodies mirroring every ridge and vein of the wood. Even snakes writhe among the leaves, creating patterns that break the silhouette of predator or prey in an intricate dance of visual illusions. Every detail matters. The veins of a leaf insect glimmer faintly in the dappled light. The slightest twitch mimics the breeze. Stick insects sway in the wind. Every movement is deliberate, a performance of invisibility. The forest itself becomes a stage where the boundaries between reality and illusion blur, and the hunter's eye is tested by subtleties invisible to the distracted observer. Predators approach cautiously, guided by movement, scent, and vibration, but even the keenest eyes can be deceived. A frog leaps toward what it believes to be a rustling leaf. A bird attacks what looks like a twig, only to discover a stick insect suspended in perfect stillness. Every moment is a test. The predator must discern the deception. The prey must maintain the illusion. The tension in these encounters is palpable, a silent confrontation written in color, texture, and patience. Snakes employ similar strategies, Camouflaged among the mottled bark or sun-dappled leaf litter, their scales ripple in subtle patterns, breaking up the outline of their bodies. The forest becomes a visual puzzle, shadowy curves, shifting light, and the gentle swaying of branches conspire to render the predator almost invisible. Their lethality lies not only in brute force, but in the mastery of concealment. The attack comes only when perception fails. Even the plants participate in this theatre of disguise. Leaves that mimic fungi or detritus, flowers that resemble insects, and mosses that conceal tiny creatures contribute to a jungle where visual deception is both protection and strategy. Survival here demands constant vigilance, the ability to distinguish the living from the illusion, the lethal from the benign. In this world, suspense is omnipresent. A simple miscalculation, the snap of a twig, a flash of color, a misinterpreted shadow can determine life or death. Predators sharpen their senses, prey perfect their stillness, and the forest itself participates in the silent war of observation. Every detail, from the fine hairs on a leaf insect's legs to the subtle curve of a snake's body, plays a part in this elaborate deception. The camouflage and mimicry of the Amazon remind us that survival isn't always about confrontation. Sometimes it's about patience, observation, and mastering illusion. Here life thrives in the spaces between perception and reality, where danger lurks and even the most vigilant predator can be deceived by the subtle skill of adaptation. The Amazon rivers teem with predators. Every movement in the water is a calculated threat. Beneath the murky surface, caimans glide with patience and precision, their bodies hunched, their eyes and nostrils the only indication of their presence. Every ripple, every scent in the current is observed and measured. Their hunt is a choreography of anticipation, a silent approach, a sudden surge, and a swift, unstoppable attack. Schools of piranhas churn beneath the surface, gleaming like molten steel. Their presence is both a warning and a threat, a kinetic force that can reduce flesh to bone in minutes. Individually small, together they form a coordinated and relentless unit. When an injured or unwary fish enters their territory, the water erupts in a frenzied flurry. Fins flash, jaws snap, and blood flows into the river like ink. The chaos is both terrifying and beautiful, a dance of survival at breakneck speed. Giant catfish, slow but immense, patrol the riverbeds, mouths agape to detect vibrations, their barbels brushing against the sediment, sensing the slightest disturbances. Opportunistic and patient, they ambush unsuspecting prey, swallowing smaller fish and crustaceans. Their enormous bodies stir the currents as they collide, sending waves that resonate through the river, alerting other predators or prey to the presence of life or death in motion. Water shapes every interaction. Flooded forests transform the landscape, creating temporary channels and hidden pools. Prey species such as fish, amphibians, and small mammals must navigate these liquid corridors with caution. Every splash, every ripple has meaning, an approaching predator, a passing sandbar, a sudden danger. The river is both lifeline and trap, offering sustenance and demanding vigilance at every bend. Tension is omnipresent. A capybara grazing on the bank senses the slightest vibration, its ears twitching and nostrils flared. Beneath the surface, caimans adjust their positions, muscles taut and eyes gleaming. In an instant, the serene waters erupt in a violent display. A flurry of jaws, a frenzy of flippers, a struggle that lasts only moments but transforms the river's equilibrium. Ripples spread across the surface, leaves tremble, and the jungle watches in silence. Even when the hunters are invisible, their presence is felt. Predatory fish slink through the shadows, biting the unwary. Caimans lie motionless, camouflaged among logs and submerged vegetation, waiting for the opportune moment. Every creature of the river, predator or prey, navigates a world ruled by stealth, precision, and instinct. Timing is everything. One false move and survival becomes impossible. The aquatic hunters of the Amazon embody a lethal elegance. Patience, perception, and power converge beneath the surface, where sight is limited, but awareness is boundless. Every splash, ripple, and shadow is a signal in an aquatic ballet of life and death, and the rainforest thrives on this dynamic tension. Here, in the currents of the world's mightiest rivers, survival is kinetic, precise, and absolute. High above the forest floor, the Amazon canopy forms a labyrinth of branches, leaves, and sunlight, a world teeming with movement and hidden dangers. Here, predators hunt in 3 dimensions, taking advantage of every twist, leap, and shadow. Each branch is both a pathway and a potential trap, and survival depends on agility, perception, and timing. A snake coils among the vines, its muscles undulating in perfect stillness, its eyes following the movements of a passing capuchin monkey. The snake's patterned scales blend seamlessly with the bark and leaves, breaking its outline and masking its presence. Every subtle movement, a flick of its tongue, a ripple in its body is measured, waiting for the precise moment to strike. Uncertainty hangs in the humid air like mist. The jungle seems to pause, acknowledging the predator's silent patience. Monkeys, on the other hand, move with kinetic energy and vigilance. Spider monkeys swing fluidly, leaping through gaps that would unnerve most creatures. Their eyes constantly scan the surrounding foliage, alert to predators both above and below. The echo of their calls warns their companions of danger, while the rustling of leaves or the snapping of branches signals a potential threat. The group dynamics and coordinated movement provide safety, but even the most alert cannot detect every hidden predator. Raptors slice through the upper canopy with lethal precision. Harpy eagles glide through the sunbeams, talons outstretched, searching for unsuspecting mammals or smaller birds. Each wing beat is a calculated adjustment, each dive measured in fractions of a second. Prey react instinctively, but in this world of arboreal killers, instinct isn't always enough. Shadows flicker, leaves rustle, and the predator strikes, often vanishing as suddenly as it appeared. Even the smallest predators play their part. Frogs cling to leaves, insects flit among flowers, and arboreal lizards patrol the branches, all participating in a web of risks and opportunities. Every movement can reveal or conceal life, and every moment is a negotiation between predator and prey. Branches snap under weight, leaves rustle in the wind, and the soundscape of the rainforest becomes a map of threats and evasions. The interplay between movement and stillness defines survival here. Predators exploit height, speed, and stealth. Prey rely on alertness, coordination, and distraction. The canopy is a stage for suspense where every leap, swing, and glide is fraught with potential danger. Even the slightest vibration or miscalculated step can tip the scales, reminding all creatures that danger lurks in every dimension. The arboreal killers of the Amazon embody precision, patience, and lethal elegance. From coiled snakes and soaring eagles to agile monkeys and watchful birds, the canopy is a dynamic battleground. Life thrives, adapts, and survives not only on the forest floor or in the water, but in this vertical world where every shadow conceals a predator, every movement is observed, and every day is a dance of survival in the treetops. In the Amazon, lethality isn't always measured by size or speed. Some of the rainforest's most formidable weapons are invisible, delivered in minuscule doses and yet capable of shaping life itself. Poison and chemical defenses are silent agents of survival that influence predator-prey interactions, territorial boundaries, and even the evolution of entire species. Perched on a dew-covered leaf, a poison dart frog shimmers with an iridescent glow. Its skin, no larger than a human thumb, gleams with a cocktail of toxins potent enough to paralyze or kill predators much larger than itself. Tiny movements, a tilt of its head, a subtle flick of its hind legs, are warnings written in color and motion. Birds and snakes have learned to interpret these signals. A single bite or touch is a lesson in caution, a reminder that in the Amazon, survival favors the vigilant. Venomous snakes exploit a different kind of chemical power. The bushmaster waits among the leaf litter, muscles tense and tongue clicking to taste the air. When prey gets too close, the attack is instantaneous. Venom circulates through the muscles and bloodstream, immobilizing, subduing, and often delivering a fatal blow before the prey can react. These toxins are designed for efficiency, a mixture of neurotoxins, hemotoxins, and enzymes that act on precise physiological pathways. The snake's lethality is both chemical and mechanical, an invisible weapon honed over millions of years. Insects also participate in this chemical arms race. Leaf beetles secrete unpleasant substances to deter predators. Wasps inject venom to paralyze their prey. Ants release pheromones to coordinate defense or attack. Even the smallest arthropods possess power disproportionate to their size, demonstrating that survival in the Amazon relies as much on chemistry as on brute force. The ecological impact of these chemical strategies is profound. Poisonous predators regulate populations, ensuring that no single species dominates the forest floor or canopy. Poisonous prey shapes predator behavior, teaching caution, altering hunting patterns, and maintaining the balance of biodiversity. Every molecule, every secretion carries consequences that ripple throughout the ecosystem, shaping interactions between species large and small. Observing these interactions is a study in tension and detail. Tiny droplets of poison glitter in the morning light on a frog's skin. A snake's fangs drip with lethal precision. Ants march in coordinated swarms, their chemical signals invisible yet powerful. Every action has a purpose, every secretion a calculated defense or attack. Life in the Amazon thrives not only on visibility and movement, but also on the invisible, the chemical whispers that dictate behavior and survival. Poison and chemical warfare illustrate that danger is not always immediate or visible. In this rainforest, lethality manifests in scales, colors, and molecular signatures. Survival depends on perception, caution, and respect for the invisible weapons that have shaped this ecosystem. Here, even the smallest creatures wield a power that resonates throughout the jungle, demonstrating that in the Amazon, the most potent threats are often those we cannot see. In the Amazon, no creature survives in isolation. Life here is a web of intricate partnerships, subtle alliances forged over millennia, where survival depends as much on cooperation as on predation. From the forest floor to the river and the canopy, symbiosis governs the rhythms of existence, weaving an invisible network that sustains this vast and vibrant rainforest. On the forest floor, fungi thrive alongside leafcutter ants. As the ants cut and carry leaf fragments to their underground gardens, the fungi digest the plant material, producing a nutrient-rich sustenance for the colony. The ants feed, the fungi thrive, and both influence the soil, shaping the conditions for countless organisms. This delicate balance is a testament to adaptation. Survival is never an individual pursuit, but a communal endeavor. Above, bromeliads harbor pools of water in their rosettes, microhabitats for countless insects, tadpoles, and microorganisms. The water collects, small predators hunt, and prey seek refuge. The plants benefit from the nutrients deposited by these inhabitants, sustaining their growth in nutrient-poor soils. Every drop of water, every movement is part of an intricate cycle where life sustains life, and survival is a collaborative negotiation. The fish navigate the flooded forests with a similar interdependence. Cleaner fish remove parasites from larger species, obtaining food and providing health benefits to their hosts. Schools of fish move in unison, coordinated by instinct and subtle cues, minimizing predation and optimizing feeding. Every interaction, from chemical signals to synchronized movements, strengthens the chances of survival for both individuals and the ecosystem as a whole. Insects and plants maintain a silent dialogue through pollination and seed dispersal. Bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds transfer pollen with precise movements, feeding on nectar and ensuring the next generation of flora. Fruits consumed by monkeys, birds, or fish are transported and deposited far from the parent plant, creating opportunities for forests to expand and renew themselves. These seemingly trivial exchanges are essential for maintaining the Amazon's astonishing biodiversity. Even predation plays a part in this web. Predators shape populations, indirectly influencing prey behavior and the distribution of plants and insects. A jaguar's hunt can redirect the movement of herbivores, which in turn affects vegetation growth and regeneration. Every act of survival is interwoven with countless others, a ripple in a vast pond where every creature, large or small, contributes to the balance. The Amazon teaches us that survival is never solitary. Life is a mosaic of dependence, adaptation, and cooperation. Every interaction, a fish cleaning its host, an ant tending its fungus garden, a bird pollinating a flower, reinforces a system in which no species exists alone. The rainforest thrives not only through strength or cunning, but through connection, a network of relationships that ensures continuity in a world of infinite risks and opportunities. In this living tapestry, symbiosis and mutualism are more than strategies. They are the very essence of life. The richness of the Amazon, its astonishing diversity, and its resilience arise from these relationships. Here, survival is a collective endeavor, a reminder that in the most dangerous rainforest on Earth, life persists not in isolation, but through intricate and interdependent bonds. The Amazon is a melting pot of extremes, a world where survival demands innovation, resilience, and evolutionary ingenuity. Life here thrives not by chance, but by adapting in ways that seem almost miraculous, turning the challenges of the rainforest into opportunities for survival. Every creature tells a story of resilience, and every adaptation is a testament to the talent of evolution. In the flooded forests, some fish have mastered the air itself. Lungfish and certain catfish emerge, sucking in oxygen, bridging two worlds, water and air, as they navigate the seasonal changes in water level. What appears to be a simple breath is, in reality, a lifeline, a perfected strategy for surviving droughts that leave behind shallow rivers, isolated pools, and predators lurking. Each gulp is a reminder that life here is subject to circumstance. The frogs, tiny but indomitable, survive the dry season by taking refuge under leaf litter or burying themselves in mud, entering a state of suspended animation. Their skin dries, forming a protective layer. Their heart rate slows, their metabolism almost stops, a fragile pause in time until the rain returns. When the first drops fall, they awaken, calling to their mates, hunting insects, and resuming the relentless rhythm of survival. Their cycles of dormancy and resurgence are symphonies of adaptation, orchestrated by the demands of their environment. Leafcutter ants demonstrate a different kind of dominance. Their colonies function like small agricultural empires. Soldiers defend, workers forage, and gardeners tend underground fungus farms. Every leaf cut, every tunnel dug, every spore cultivated contributes to the survival of tens of thousands. Their social structures, division of labor, and agricultural innovation are not conscious inventions, but evolutionary triumphs, strategies as precise and sophisticated as any human-designed system. Even the jaguar exhibits adaptations that defy expectations. Muscles sculpted for stealth, padded paws for silent movement, jaws capable of crushing bones. Each trait reflects survival in a world of dense vegetation, unpredictable prey, and formidable competitors. Its instincts are calibrated for timing, striking accuracy, and endurance, making it the ultimate arbiter of life and death in its domain. The adaptations here are both chemical and behavioral. Poisonous snakes, brightly colored frogs, camouflaged insects, and flying fish illustrate that life's solutions can be invisible, silent, or subtle. Some rely on speed, others on patience, some on cooperation, others on deception. Each strategy is a response to the unique pressures of the Amazon, seasonal flooding, predation, scarcity, and competition, demonstrating evolution's capacity to shape complexity and resilience. The rainforest itself seems to recognize these extremes. Floods rise and fall, sunlight penetrates the dense canopy, and predators and prey alike move in cycles dictated by water, food, and risk. Survival involves constant innovation, adapting physiology, behavior, and perception to the demands of the jungle. Every breath, leap, bite, or burrow is a testament to adaptation, a negotiation between organism and environment that ensures continuity in a world of relentless challenges. In the Amazon, extreme adaptations are not anomalies, they are the norm. Survival here is a masterpiece of evolutionary art, a living gallery where each species demonstrates the ingenuity, resilience, and inexhaustible creativity that allow life to endure in the most dangerous and dynamic rainforest on the planet. Amidst the Amazon's ceaseless pulse, life persists, defying danger. The forest sprouts anew, leaves unfurl to capture the sunlight, vines climb toward the canopy, and saplings seek space in a world of giants. Every inch of this rainforest tells a story of survival, adaptation, and renewal, a testament to the ecosystem's inherent resilience. Predators roam with lethal precision, but their prey endure. Jaguars prowl the riverbanks, while capybaras graze in wary groups. Harpy eagles patrol the canopy, their talons like precise instruments of predation, while monkeys leap with acrobatic grace, alert to every movement. Even in the shadow of such constant threats, the rainforest thrives, a choreography of life and death that balances tension with continuity. Diversity is the rainforest's shield. Thousands of species, mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, insects, and plants coexist in overlapping niches. Each organism contributes to the balance. Each predator regulates populations. Each herbivore shapes the vegetation. Each insect pollinates flowers or disperses seeds. These interactions form a network of checks and balances, a living testament to the Amazon's capacity for harmony amidst chaos. Seasonal floods sweep across the floodplains, transforming the landscape in a matter of hours. Fish navigate temporary rivers, frogs awaken from their torpor, and birds follow newly formed feeding corridors. Predators adapt to the changing environment, stalking submerged trails, ambushing from hidden branches, and seizing fleeting opportunities. The ecosystem is in constant flux, yet its rhythm persists, and every species responds to the pulse of the forest with instinct and precision. Even the scars on the land, fallen trees, uprooted vegetation, and flooded areas serve as canvases for renewal. Plants colonize open spaces, insects and birds exploit new niches, and mammals adapt their life patterns to find sustenance. Death and destruction coexist with regeneration, and each cycle reinforces the resilience of the Amazon. Life here is not fragile, it is tempered by adversity, honed by risk, and strengthened by the constant interplay of survival strategies. From panoramic heights, the rainforest seems endless, a mosaic of green, gold, and shadows. Streams meander like veins, treetops ripple with movement, and the calls of countless creatures fill the air. This visual poetry captures both the danger and the beauty of the world's most complex rainforest. Every rustle of leaves, every splash in the water, every distant roar or squeal is a note in the symphony of life, tension and vitality intertwined. In the Amazon, danger is ever present, but so is resilience. The rainforest thrives because its inhabitants are adapted, alert and interconnected. Predators sharpen their instincts, prey refine their strategies, plants and fungi maintain cycles of renewal. Every species, from the tiniest ant to the giant jaguar, contributes to a vital balance that has persisted for millennia. Here, in the shadow of lethal threats, the Amazon demonstrates a profound truth. Life endures not despite danger, but because of it. Survival shapes the ecosystem, empowers its inhabitants, and ensures continuity in a jungle as deadly as it is awe-inspiring. In this web of movement, color, and sound, resilience is everywhere, subtle, spectacular, and eternal. The Amazon, vast and abundant, is no longer pristine. Deforestation damages the canopy, leaving jagged clearings where sunlight beats down too intensely on the forest floor, disrupting microclimates and displacing countless species. Mining operations turn rivers into mud, suffocating fish and disrupting the delicate aquatic ecosystems that support both predators and prey. Roads cut through the rainforest, fragmenting territories, isolating communities, and encouraging further exploitation of this living labyrinth. The fires, often started by humans, spread at a catastrophic rate, destroying decades of growth in a matter of hours. Smoke blankets the forest, suffocating birds in flight and forcing mammals to flee their shelters. Even rivers, vital sources of life, carry sediment and pollutants downstream, transforming habitats, flooding aquatic nurseries, and threatening the survival of species that have evolved over millennia. However, amidst this pressure, pockets of resilience persist. Protected areas, indigenous management, and scientific intervention offer glimmers of hope. The rainforest's regenerative capacity is extraordinary, yet fragile. It cannot withstand relentless exploitation indefinitely. Every tree felled, every river altered, every fire deliberately set erodes a balance that took eons to establish. The Amazon does not collapse in an instant. It transforms, shrinks, and adapts, indicating the strain through declining biodiversity, altered migration patterns, and subtle disturbances in predator-prey dynamics. Humanity's choices are now integral to the rainforest's fate. Destruction and conservation are intertwined, and the question remains whether our actions will lead this world toward irreparable loss or toward a future where life, in all its diversity and complexity, endures.